We are really struggling here for any bit of light. The only light that I'm getting is the white sky over the white snow reflecting. There's not a single ray of sunlight to be shown. So sorry, it might be a little dark. Also, I really don't know how I feel about this shirt. I really don't know. I liked it in stores, but now I don't think I like how it puffs out. I'm undecided. That's why I'm like, I'll wear it in a video, see if I like it, and then if I don't, then I'll get rid of it. I'll donate it. I think I liked this part a lot, and it's like a square neckline, so like I think I liked that, but I don't know how I feel about that, so we'll see when I edit this back. But today, on my little piece of paper, I have my anticipated releases of 2024 this year. So I actually have a fair amount, which is surprising because normally I don't tend to have a lot, or really like any at all to do a video like this, because as you guys, if you're not new here, I only really read independent romances. I don't read like any traditionally published books almost at all. And with that, indie romances don't typically announce releases very far in advance. You know, it only can be like a lot of times it's like a month, 2 months prior, but actually quite a few of my favorites have announced their releases for this year. So I'm going to go through just some of the ones that I'm most excited about. I might have missed some because I tried to just like pull this list together from memory, but we will see. First of all, which is I think the first one that's going to come out on this list is Crescent City 3. I think only the only like traditionally published one I maybe have on this list, as well as the only fantasy romance. So third Crescent City book, House of Flame and Shadow. I am so excited for this one. It is seriously so hard to believe that it has been 2 years since the cliffhanger that absolutely wrecked all of us, I think, from House of Sky and Breath. So I just seriously cannot wait for this book. I'm currently doing a Crescent City reread and I'm really, really enjoying it, especially because there's so much from these books that I do not remember. There's like Throne of Glass and ACOTAR. I feel like I could pass some hard trivia questions for those two series, but this one, not so much. So I'm really enjoying my reread of it, and I will be dropping everything to go and read this the day that it comes out. So I'm so excited. I can't wait. Next up is Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling. The way that I am like frothing at the mouth for this book, because it is it dark academia Sapphic, or is it gothic Sapphic? It's Sapphic, and that's all I like heard. Or is this the Medusa retail? I think this is this the Medusa? Like loose kind of like Medusa inspired one that she's been talking about. I'm so excited. She's released like a couple of little teasers here and there, and I just know this is going to absolutely hit. The thing that I really crave in a sapphic romance is something like gritty, and getting that like same gritty, angsty, sometimes like toxicity that I love in a lot of my favorite MF romances, but put it between two women. And I feel like, you know, there are a lot of sapphic romances that are a lot like lighter or fluffier, you know, like a lot of the traditionally published ones. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's obviously the audience for it. But me personally, I just want like that same feeling that vibe by Eliza James gave me, you know? I think that this is going to bring that grit and that angst to it. I cannot wait. And this one is releasing in February. So I already have it added in my reading journal to my February TBR. I also can't wait to see the cover. I just know it's going to be beautiful because Gianna has great covers. And I'm really, really, really excited about this one. I think it's gonna be so good. And also just the title too. It's already giving. Next up, another one that releases in February. So again, another one that I will likely be adding to my February TBR is Untether by Elodie Hart. So this is the fourth book in the Alchemy series. Last year, I read the first 3 books in this series, and I love each and every one of them. Unfurl was one of my favorites. That's the first book that was on my top 10 of the year. But I also loved Undulate and Unveil as well. But Untether here is following Cal, which is a character that we've met since the first book. He's one of the co-owners at this spicy club, and it's his romance with a new client of theirs who I think she has recently gone through like a very public divorce. Like I think she's a public figure. She's some sort of like celebrity, or else she's just like very rich and people know her and like know about her divorce. And she really wants to like take ownership back of her life. And I think she's maybe like a little bit older. I think she's maybe in like her 40s, is she? Like late 30s, early 40s or something. So I think she just wants to kind of do this to help like show other women that there is no like expiration date on like starting your life over and like exploring yourself. And she ends up going to Alchemy and Cal and like recruiting Cal. And I think maybe does she start doing like some videos for them and for herself and stuff. I am so excited. Again, all the teasers that Elodie Hart has given us, I just know this is gonna slap. Her books are beautifully written. I think her writing is incredible. Every single time I read a book of hers, I'm like, ugh, I just like hope one day that I could even write like a fraction as well as she does. But also just the spice is absolutely insane in these books, and I'm really looking forward to it. And also Cal is a playboy, and there's nothing, I'm such a sucker for like a reformed playboy kind of trope. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's gonna be a good one. Next up is 1111 by Magnolia Smelter. Oh, this one is so far being advertised as her spiciest book. That makes me a little nervous, but I'm also very intrigued by the premise of this one. So if y'all are new to my channel, then you might not have heard about the million times I've talked about Sweet Dandelion, which is my all-time favorite standalone romance, and that's by Magnolia Smelter. And I've read some other books of hers. I love some of her other books, and I'm always like eyeing up any new releases that she has. But this one in particular has caught my eye because it is an age gap, but it's an older woman, younger man, which I don't read a lot of, but after Mercy by Sarah Kate, I'm like always down to give them a go. And also this one, I'm pretty sure she dates his dad at some point, but then she like leaves the dad for the son, which that's also like unheard of. I feel like it's always like they're dating the son and then they leave the son for the dad. So I'm intrigued by that. The little snippets that we got seem really cute, but also like hot. I am a little nervous because the thing that I love the most about Sweet Dandelion is how emotionally driven the connection is between those two characters, and like the spice is kind of secondary to the story. So I am kind of nervous. I just don't want, I don't know, I still want that like emotional punch along with great spice, kind of like what I feel like I get with like Gianna Darling or like Elodie Hart, where it like kind of has both of those components. So I'm excited. I'm very excited for this one. But yeah, I'm just still hoping that it has that like emotional punch to it. I mean, obviously it doesn't have to be as heavy as Sweet Dandelion because that is very clearly a heavy book, but I'm really looking forward to this one. And also just like a reverse age gap. I feel like not a lot of people do that. So I'm really excited to see Magnolia Smelter do it. So anyways, pretty much anything that she releases, I'm always gonna like keep an eye on and want to read. Let's see, 2 releases by Penelope Douglas in 2024. I think those are the only 2 that have been announced so far. We did not get any new Penelope Douglas books last year, and that's okay. Never want to pressure an author to put a book out if they're not ready. However, I am very excited for Pirate Girls. This is book 2 in the not in the Follow-Away series. That was the original one. This one is the Hellbent series. So Falls Boys was the first book that came out a couple of years ago. I really enjoyed it. It's the second gen off of her Follow-Away series, which is her first series that she ever wrote. I really love that series as well. And I really enjoyed Falls Boys. And Pirate Girls, honestly, at this point, I literally can't even remember who this one's following. But this one just got, I think, like even the blurb released. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not really here to like give you like the full synopsis because some of these don't even have synopses released yet. But I think this one does, so you can go and like look it up. But if you've read the series, then you kind of like know the premise. It's like this town. There's like some racing. There's some mysteries. There's second gen, which I really actually like the second gen in this one. Y'all know I'm always very trepidatious with second gen, but literally Penelope Douglas could release anything and I'd read it. They could release a historical fiction and I'd probably even be like, I'm gonna give that a go. So I'm excited for that. And the other one, which is one that's going to be traditionally, I don't know if Pirate Girls is going to be traditionally published or not, but I know Five Brothers is, because this one was announced a long time ago and I think it's maybe even coming over like the summer or something. I think it has a later in the year release date. I obviously could be wrong on that, but this one, so if you read Tri-Six Venom, love that one. You should if you haven't. But so in that one, one of our heroines has 5 brothers, and I think then this is the 5 brother stories, but with one heroine. I don't think it's like, it's not going to end up being like a why choose, but I think she does explore relationships with multiple brothers, but then she ends up being with one in the end. Again, I think the blurb is out there, but honestly, I don't really quite remember because it was so long ago that this book was announced. But I'm really excited. I loved Tri-Six Venom, and I thought that the brothers were interesting, and I kind of wanted more of them, but obviously Tri-Six Venom is a standalone. So I was excited when they announced that they're going to like be exploring more of the brothers and like their relationships and stuff. I'm intrigued. And also if it's going to be like maybe Credence kind of vibes, because obviously she's going to explore multiple relationships but then choose one. I'm intrigued. Next up, again, this one I think is coming out in February. Magnolia Parks Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings. The third, or well, technically fifth book in the Magnolia Parks universe, but the third one of BJ and Magnolia. And again, how has it been? So I don't even know when the third book came out in Magnolia Parks, but it's been over a year now since I read the third Magnolia, or the second Magnolia Parks book that left on that huge cliffhanger, because it was like one of the first books that I read last year. And that cliffhanger was brutal. And I'm very excited now to see how we're going to get out of that with Magnolia and BJ. I love the two of these characters so much. And I loved them in the first Magnolia Parks, but it's obviously like a very toxic romance if you haven't read it. It's very toxic between them. And they're clearly like not good for they're like very good for each other, and they're also very bad for each other. And I was always kind of wondering, like, what is it? Like, truly, what is it about them that they can't seem to, like, separate? And then you got the second book, and I was like, I get it. I get it. You two fight. You two fight for each other. And now, especially after the cliffhanger that happened at the end of book 2, I just truly can't wait to see how this one goes. And I don't know if this is the last book for them or if Jess Hastings is writing more. So I don't know, like, are we going to get a happy ending in this one? Are we not? I'm really, really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to read this. And also I'm really excited that she's doing like a regular cover for these, because these also did get traditionally published, but the traditionally published covers are not my vibe at all. So I'm very excited that she is doing like a regular cover, like her artist kind of cover for it, because that's beautiful. Next up, so again, this one does have a blurb out, but honestly, I'm like, do I need to reread this duet? And that's Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton. Again, in case if you're new here, I am a cat and mouse duet stan. I love those books so much, especially Hunting Adeline. That was one of my top books when I read it a couple years ago. I just love that duet with my entire heart and soul. And this one, so Molly, this character apparently is in Hunting Adeline. I do not really remember. Honestly, there were quite a few like not like random characters, but like other characters introduced in that book, but I was so focused on everything that was going on with Zaid and Adeline that I didn't really like pay much attention to other people. But this one is following one of the girls that Adeline met, I think, and like it's another dark romance. First of all, this cover too, absolutely sickening. This cover is insane. One of my favorite covers I think I've seen in like months. And I'm just really excited for it. I think I might then reread Hunting Adeline. I don't know if I'll reread Haunting Adeline, but I think I might reread Hunting just to try to like familiarize myself. I don't think you have to read the duet. I think it's just gonna like maybe give extra context, but it's gonna be a dark romance, and I'm just really excited for it because I've just, like I said, I just love that duet so much. I'm really excited to hopefully maybe get some of that same kind of like energy. The next one, I'm putting it on here even though I'm 2 books behind in this series, King of Sloth by Anna Huang. So this one I think comes out in April. So yeah, I've only read King of Wrath so far. I'm very behind in this series. King of Pride is kind of holding me up a little bit, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, should I just jump into King of Greed to get caught up, because I love Anna Huang. Twisted series, some of my all-time favorite books, and I really enjoyed King of Wrath, and I've kind of been burnt out on billionaires. I think that's my main issue, is that I just have not really been wanting any billionaire books lately. So obviously these are all billionaires, and so I've just been kind of putting them off, but I still wanted to include it on here because any book that Anna Huang releases, again, I'm always going to want to read and like have on my radar. So I'm obviously excited for this one, but like I said, I am behind in the series, and I do typically like to read series in order, even if you like don't have to, like they're interconnected standalones, but I just kind of like reading them in order. So I will for sure be reading this one, but I don't think it'll be one that it's like a drop everything as soon as it releases, like some of the other ones I might do. So next one, this one doesn't have a release date and it also doesn't have a blurb, but Jessie Hall has been teasing Greenlight for quite some time now on her Instagram. And so I think the title is like literally the only thing that's out, and that it's a dark step sibling romance. Say less, say absolute less. I love step sibling romances. I love the tension. I love the forbidden. I love the forced proximity. I love the angst. It's all so good. And especially coming from Jessie Hall, I mean, I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. And like even the reels that she shared and like the mood boards and everything, Oh, I just think it's going to be so good. And this is going to be one that as soon as it releases, I do think I will drop things to pick this one up because I really, really think it's going to be a win for me. I don't really even need to know the blurb. I just need to know that she's writing it and that it's going to be a dark step sibling romance, and I'm sold. Okay, next up is The Homewrecker by Sarah Kate. So again, I don't think this one, I don't know if it has a release date and I don't know if it has a blurb, but it's the next book in the like Good Brothers series. And so it's following up The Antihero, which The Antihero is not my favorite book by Sarah Kate. However, I have read almost her entire backlist and I love so many of her books. Like, she's just like an auto interest author for me. Like, again, anytime she releases something, I'm at least going to look into it, put it on my radar, and most likely end up reading it. So that's kind of how I feel with this one. I'm really interested to hear the blurb. I don't feel like I loved either of the characters that much in The Antihero. So that's why I'm looking forward to seeing what The Homewrecker is about. I think it's following obviously another one of the Good Brothers, but like kind of hearing the full synopsis of everything, I have high hopes for it. Next up, okay, again, I have not read the first book in this duet, but I'm putting it on here, and that's The Consequence by Ashley Jade. So the first book is The Choice, and that one has been out, I think, for 2 years. So these were originally supposed to release like kind of back to back, and then she ended up holding this one. And again, no pressure, because authors should just be able to publish when they are ready to publish, and no one should be like demanding them and like sending them threats over it like she got because she didn't release this book yet. But it is coming out this year, and I'm really looking forward to it because I have purposely held off on reading The Choice until this one was out, because I have heard that the cliffhanger is brutal and I'm really bad with cliffhangers. So I just wanted to wait until this one was out so that way I could read them like back to back. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's some characters that from The Words, her standalone. Oh, love that book so much. Another one that I really want to reread. There's 2 characters in that one, side characters, that this is like their beginnings story, but it's a love triangle between 2 brothers and the heroine, and it's like cheating. And it's like them when they're younger and then them as adults after like things have happened. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be incredible, and I'm really excited to finally then read The Choice to be able to get to The Consequence. Okay, lastly, this one literally doesn't have a title, it doesn't have a release date, it doesn't have anything, but Harley LaRue announced that she's writing a Sapphic Gothic romance, which, once again, say less. I love everything Harley LaRue has written. Another author that it's like the second they announce something, I'm going to be checking it out. And yeah, I'm really excited to get a Sapphic romance from her. And a Gothic romance too. Oh, I think it's gonna be so fun. And lastly, again, this one doesn't have any release date, title, nothing, but Pam Godwin has been talking about this dark trilogy that she's been writing for a while. And like, so she didn't publish any books last year, but apparently she's just been like writing this trilogy. So I'm assuming maybe she'll like release it like pretty quickly, one after the other maybe, but it's a dark romance trilogy. And again, I'm gonna be interested. I'm gonna be interested in it. So, and then lastly, again, I just wanted to tag in here at the end, you know, my own little plug, because I did put up my release schedule, my 2024 release schedule on my Instagram, as well as I've talked about it in a couple of videos, but I just wanted to talk about it again here because I know not everyone watches every video. I have 3 books releasing this year as well. Take My Hand, the second book in the Whisper Me Nothing series, that is going to be coming out March 25th. That one follows Hayden and Carter. It is a rock star, friends to lovers, anxiety, mutual healing kind of vibe. Oh, I really love these 2. You know, it's definitely like shy guy, but like not so shy in other places, you know. I'm really looking forward for you guys to get this story, and it is an interconnected standalone. So even though it is book 2 in the Whisper Me Nothing series, you don't have to read book 1. You just kind of see them as side characters in that book, and it follows them in this book. So that's March 25th, and then July 29th, I have a complete standalone, completely separate from the Whisper Me Nothings universe. It's a standalone sports romance that is going to be coming July 29th. It's called Starting Line. I haven't released any other tropes or anything about that, but I'm really excited. I'm going to be starting writing that one very, very soon, and I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be my first non-rockstar romance, which granted, like, I mean, I've only published 2, but I'm really looking forward to bringing you guys something that isn't rockstar, in case if like rockstar just isn't a trope that you're interested in. And then lastly, this one does not have a release date, but it'll be like either late November, early December of this year. That is Take What You Want, which is book 3 in the Whisper Me Nothing series. I haven't announced the couple for that one yet, but again, I think as soon as Take My Hand is out, it's going to be very obvious who that couple is going to be following. Again, it's going to be an interconnected standalone, and I haven't really talked about tropes either for that one, so I will save that. But that is going to be the third book that I have out this year. And then we're already looking to 2025, which I almost have all my writing plans set for 2025 too, which is kind of crazy, like looking ahead that I already kind of know what I'm going to be working on for like 2 years. But I'm feeling really good about that. I'm really excited about the stories that I'm bringing you guys, and I'm really excited about these other new releases that I'm just excited to read. So anyways, those are all of my anticipated releases for 2024. But obviously throughout the year, I'm sure more will pop up. Like I said, indie authors a lot of times don't really announce like super far in advance. Even I was kind of like, am I really going to announce like starting line already? But I am pretty set on that release date because it kind of has to coincide with the world event that happens every 4 years. So, you know, I was like, I might as well announce it because it's not going to move. So anyways, that is it for today's video. Next week, I honestly don't know what I'm going to have up. I know this is going up on Friday, but I don't know what I'm going to have next week. So it'll be a surprise to us all. So anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.